coming out of the old hairpin.
Oh no!
JC's going to send it? You better use. Oh, look at the Aston, just with the nice little battle here. Carrying huge speed through the crater curve.
Aston runs wide and he's in the grass.
Oh, there's a bit of contact.
Oh, almost side by side through there.
Hello and welcome everyone. This is season 6. It's round 4. We're at Brands Hatch. This is Race on Oz. This is the PS4 division tonight. Welcome. My name is Nick and I'm joined by Adman and Jamie. Fellas, how are we this evening?
Hey Nick, hey Jamie. I'm super excited about tonight. Love this track and cannot wait to see the action when the qualifying and the racing starts.
Hi, Ads, Nick. Great to be here again, and yeah, similarly, can't wait.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. It's going to be pretty exciting. Last round was around Silverstone, so we've stayed in the motherland. But yeah, we'll be going around Brands Hatch, which we'll have a look at very, very shortly. But first, let's have a look at the last round we were at. So it was Crushy Mate who took out victory at Silverstone, so in the Gamesman Racing Team Audi, so a well-deserved victory to him. HSV, who fought him all the way to the very end there, came home in P2 for Coach Dave Academy, and Ty Morgo for Pagnian Next Level in the Bentley took home the final podium position. Then you had Eagle Wind and Footner, so that was Pagnian Next Level and Bruce Hale Racing. Someone Awesome in the Selby Acoustics Bentley. Then it was Fly for Gamesman Racing Team, Brentigles for P&L, Kraken with a nice top 10 finish there, so well done to him. And Christoph came home in P10. Then you had Stanhouse, Sparky God, Aaron, Big Dom, Sadudes, Team Little Bear, Psycho, Fresh Prince, Familiar, and K-Man. What were your thoughts on last round's race, boys?
Yeah, I love the close racing, and you know that it came down to the wire with HSV, Ty Morgo, and Crashy. You know, those couple of little mistakes with those guys certainly handed the win to Crashy. But he was certainly fast on the night as well, which was really good to watch. And the rest of the guys too, like, you know, a fair bit of clean racing that's going on there between them also. Really, you know, happy to see that. And yeah, look, I loved it.
What about you, Jamie?
Yeah, it was a shame to see Cam Footner's night kind of unravel a little bit through, some incidents that weren't of his doing and some technical issues. So, he realises he's got a bit of a hill to climb in these last 2 rounds. But yeah, the pendulum swinging between Crashy and HSV, and how critical those errors can be, it really gave us a good show nonetheless.
Yeah, well, I think in terms of errors, it's going to be an error-riddled night tonight with the Brands Hatch circuit. Very, very, very tight and twisty. So just, getting a little bit of feedback about the volume. So I've tried to turn me down a little bit more and cut out the crackling from those guys. So hopefully that might be fixed by now. So we'll just stick with us on that one. All right, let's have a look at the championship standings as they stand. We're round 4, so we're coming towards the back end of this season. So these are all up to date. We can see P&L have been up the top most of the season. They're on 730 points right now as it sits. So got a pretty sizable lead there over Coach Dave Academy, 38 points. Pretty handy at this stage of the season. GRT there on 683 in third. Then you've got Bruce Hale Racing, 650. We're used to seeing them a bit further up the field. They're in 4th, and then bringing up 5th spot is Selby Acoustics. What are your thoughts on the championship standings? P&L have been the class of the field all season so far.
Yeah, they have, mate, and it's shown through, as we've mentioned previous, with the practices that they do as a group. They have the team party chat through the race. So there's a fair bit of commitment from those guys, and it clearly shows in the points that they've got with a lead over CDA. But no, well done to them as well. Well deserved.
And what about you, Jamie? What are your thoughts on the championship picture so far?
they've had a pretty stable lineup P&L for quite a number of seasons, so it feels like they've been building up to this, and you know, as Ada said, though, they're getting some rewards now for it. Having the guys in consistently helps. So we know from a Brutal Racing perspective that we've suffered a little bit with some of the guys not being able to make it every single round because of, you know, work and life commitments, and you know that can happen sometimes. But nonetheless, you know, the guys try and put in as best as they can when they can, and you know, what will be with the championship.
Yeah. All right, let's have a look at the Drivers' Championship, so the individual awards. So Cam Footner had a nice little lead up there. He says, hey lads, in the chat as we mention his name. So, but as we see, as it stops, it's HSV. P1 on 86 points. He's only 1 point ahead of Ty Morgo, a P&L driver there, and Footner on 84, so extremely tight for the top three. Crashy mate there in 4th position. Doesn't look like he'll be racing tonight, so that'll put a pretty big dent in his championship aspirations. Then you got Brenticle, someone awesome he's had a sneaky good season to find himself there in 6th position. Eagle in D-roll. The Kraken, that's a bit of a surprise for me. So he's had a good season as well. Sparky God and Sadudes, who didn't have the greatest round last round. He'll be hoping to rectify that as we go along. So pretty tight at the top, boys, for the individual championship.
No, it sure is. And tonight, being a tight track, I think it should be interesting to see, you know, who plays the smart game here and the long game, because every point counts. And we've seen previously at Brands Hatch how quickly things can unravel and turn pear-shaped for drivers. So it certainly needs to be eyes forward and be very aware of your spatial awareness and the cars around you. So it's really important that they stay on track and have a good time, but get some good points too. Yep.
All right, so speaking of the track, Jamie, do you want to give us a bit of a rundown on the 9-turn 3.9 kilometre circuit?
Very tight, very twisty, bumpy and punishing, as we've kind of already alluded to. So it's a track where you really dance on the edge, you know, trying to ignore the signals that your brain gives you that you're pushing too much. You can be rewarded when you take it to the limit but not over it. So if you're too tentative, you can drop massive amounts of time around here, even though it's a short lap. But if you take it too far, it's really a question of how big that penalty will be. So I guess what we're looking for around here is, you know, precision and commitment. You know, in Sector 1, that precision is really, you know, Paddock Hill, Druids, where you really need to focus on your optimum line. Not get too greedy, trying to brake too late and end up understeering away from your best exit. But later in the lap, Hawthorns, Westfield, Sheens, you know, these are big coconuts corners. The amount of speed you need to have throwing the car in there, using every inch of the track and the curbs, you know, while trying to avoid those track limit warnings and also the grass and the gravel. So high risk, high reward, all up, and we'll shortly see who's got the balance and the confidence. It is difficult to overtake, but as you mentioned earlier, Nick, you know, high chances of individual errors should keep things interesting. The pit stop strategies will also be key as well, as drivers look to kind of shake things up during that phase.
What are you thinking pit stop strategy around here?
So I think there could be opportunity for someone to come in and get a bit of an undercut. Because if you have that confidence, you can really take the time out of the drivers who just don't have so much confidence as you. So I'd be looking out for drivers who use that tactic. Yeah,
cool. All right, well, let's have a look at the circuit. Awesome analysis. Let's go for a lap around with that man.
Well, here we are, guys. We're at Brand Hatch, round 4. PS4 and PS5 series. As we make our way to the last corner to go down Bradman Straight. Coming down here, we want to position our car into Paddock Hill bend, into the middle of the corner. It's got a dirty off camber, definitely don't want to hit that, as it will throw you out in the gravel patch. Take it out as wide as you can as we make our approach up to Druids. Brake just under the bridge here, keep it nice and tight as we go around. A little bit of oversteer, make our way down to Graham Hill bend, brake just after the marker. Watch out, there's a bump there on the left that I've just hit. It does unsettle the car. So we make our way down to Sturdy's. Brake just after the marker, take a wide apex. Stay off that curbing. Go out wide here, but there is a bump there as well that will unsettle the car. You'll lose at least half a second if you go over that. Make our way down Hawthorn Hill. There's not a lot of time to rest on this track. Brake in between these two markers, drop down to 4th gear, take it out as wide as you can. Track limits could be an issue as we make our way down to Westfield. Cut across this track as we make our approach up to one of the hardest corners on the track at Sheen Curve. So brake in a straight line, get off the gas, power through there, come into Stirling's. Want to drop the left-hand front wheel on the curbing here, which will help guide the car around. And make our way down to the last corner. So the brake in a straight line again, 3rd gear, let it drift out wide. Make our way back across the start-finish line. There's a lap of Brands Hatch. Good luck to all that are racing tonight. See you on track, and good luck.
All right, so that was a lap on board with Adman. Adman, give us the debrief. Obviously, you've taken us through it. What are what's the peripheral stuff we need to be watching for?
Yeah, thanks, Nick. So, look, just for the guys that are racing tonight, I think, as Jamie alluded to as well, track limits is going to be a massive contributor here. So, really easy. There's a couple of spots there where track limits can be broken that are, susceptible. So, it's coming around Graham Hill Bend, absolutely. And then you've also got, as you're coming down through Hawthorn Hill and out of the Hawthorn's corner, going wide, there's track limits there. And this track will absolutely bite hard. It's a tough track, and as I said in my video, you don't get any time to have any rest whatsoever. So, for 60 minutes of racing here, I can guarantee you that you've got to be on it 150%. And if you just drop a few percent, you will have an off. The gravel can catch you and throw you out to the fence. But it's a tough track, but it's so good and tough that you got to love it. Like, it's just an amazing, the ups and downs, the flows, the technical aspect of it, the precision, as Jamie mentioned. You've got to be using every inch of the track, and you're literally holding your breath sometimes as you come out. Even going through Sheen Curve, sometimes it can feel like you're going to go in the grass, and you're holding your breath and you're holding the wheel, and it's just it's exciting stuff, and definitely gets the heart pumping, that's for sure.
Yeah, and what about the, Jamie mentioned risk versus reward as well, like very little runoff around the circuit. It's a little bit old school like that. So how much does that sort of play into your mind when you're going around on a lap?
Well, I think when you're being pressured by another racer, it's certainly, but if you can, get into a bit of a flow, and it all becomes habit after a little while. It doesn't take long. If you can settle in and just, bank your laps and do good times, that risk versus the reward will certainly come out on top. But you've still got to be, concentrating that huge amount. So it's they've got to hit a little bump here, and before you know it, you'd be sideways into a fence.
Yeah, you can end up in the wall pretty quickly around here. So cars are out on track as well. Do you want to give us a bit of a rundown as well, how the service set up as well, Adman? You're walking us through that before the start of the race there. You want to let everyone else in on how it's been set up, a little bit unique.
Yeah, so we've taken a slightly different approach. So free practice has started out on a Friday. So being a popular track in the mother country, as you mentioned, mate, there's a lot of people that have turned up for this race weekend. So free practice is on Friday, 10 o'clock in the morning. Qualifying is in mid-afternoon on a Saturday, which gives the opportunity where possible rain overnight will wash away any of the rubber that's been laid down. I noticed that the guys, when they started the free practice, it was a green track going to a fast track. And then race day on Sunday, so again another opportunity, like what we're familiar with England, to get rain overnight. All that rubber that's been laid down will be washed away. There's the potential where there could be rain. It won't be devastating rain, it will just be a slight misting rain, but certainly enough for the guys to think, should I be on slicks or should I be on wets? So yeah, look forward to seeing how that plays out. And the feedback that we've had so far has been quite good. I haven't had too many upset people talk, with the potential of rain, so that's a good thing. But I think just having the way that it's set up like this as well, it's just a little bit of the unknown, it's a little bit more of the realism that comes into it that gives the guys, that extra edge of, what do I set up for? Do I go and pit early or do I go long? So it brings a whole another level of elements into it, which is good for the guys to experience.
All right, so very unique. I do like the initiative though. So we'll see how it pans out this evening. As we've got Footno's about to complete his first flying lap of the second, just coming through the final turn here. So we'll see what sort of time he sets to get us all started as he makes his way to the line. It's a bit of a long run to the line here, but a 1:23.8 gets us kicked off here. Let's see what the others can bring now as I try and catch them as they make their way across the line. A little bit underprepared here. Here's Gaz. So Footner's up there. He looked pretty fast in practice as well, Footner. So we'll see if that translates into the race and qualifying. There's a few cars starting to filter through now. But as it sits, Footner from Andrelli. Slambo is an unfamiliar name in the PS4 division. He's racing tonight, as is K-Man. So we've got 18 in the lobby, and just about everyone is out there and set a time. Sparky God. I think K-Man will be the last one across the line to set a time. Goes into P9, but not a bad start. A 1:23.8 by Footner. Andrelli, Aaron Slambo and Ty Morgo are top 5 so far. So good start to the session, only 4 minutes in.
Yeah, it's a strong field. We saw that in practice. There's quite a few of the guys at the, say, top 7 that are very close to each other. It's all the regulars that we talk about. And Slambo been in the mix as well, so he's certainly a risk to some of these guys that are playing up in the sort of the top 5 of potentially taking points away. We'll see how that plays out. But it's going to be a cracking race. It's the last few rounds that we've seen with these guys, there's been some good swapping of paint, as we saw at Silverstone. But it's all been fairly respectful, so it's going to be an interesting race. And I hope that some of these guys that typically down in the, say, the bottom 10, that they can have the opportunity to come up into the, say, pop up into the top 10 based on the way the track plays out, the way pit strategies taken. So yeah, it's something to look forward to.
And what are you seeing so far, Jamie?
Just been riding on board with a couple of the drivers, so Footner is very much dancing on the edge, as we typically see from him. Very oversteery, loose car. Ty Morgo, very interesting. He's got a lot of pace, and but he's got it nicely balanced, so he's got a nice turn in there, but definitely not as loose as Footner. And HSV is, again, as we tend to see in the AMG, dealing with the understeer in that. We know he can get it hooked up eventually, but so he has a little bit of work to do though to try and bridge the gap to Footner and Ty, I think, at the moment.
Yeah, and that internet connection didn't look particularly good earlier in the session, so we'll see if that can hopefully hold up from him as we're watching Sadooz make his way towards the line to set another time. Currently in P10, he had a bit of a rough race last round out. He's up into P8 there, so a good start from him. Here's Gaz. We saw a good battle between him and K-Man as well last round, so we'll see if they can renew hostilities. He's got another Audi behind him. Just trying to figure if it's Slambo or Big Dom. I think it might be Slambo behind him there. Here's Big Dom. He's got a few Audis tonight. Do we think that this circuit might suit any one particular car, a front engine, rear engine car? What do we have any thoughts on that?
Well, I think the Bentleys are certainly suited. I guess the Ferrari and the McLaren as well. And I know that they're different to the Bentley in the way the driveline's set up, but it's I guess it's just however they've got their car set up, and who's going to take the gamble to ride the curbs and ride some of those bumps. But yeah, what are your thoughts, Jamie, in terms of car that's suited to this track?
I think you're right with the Bentley and the Ferrari, but as you say, I think confidence trumps that, and your setup as well plays a part. So I think we're looking more at the drivers maybe and the balance and the confidence rather than the cars being the differentiator.
Well, you did say you need some big coconuts as well for some of the curves around here. Definitely through that back through sector 2 through Hawthorn, Westfield, and Sheens, where it can go really wrong in a big way, in a big hurry as well through there. So we'll see if we have any action through there. I dare say that we will. But how do you handle the undulations of a circuit like this as well? So a lot of up and down through here, especially along the front straight. You plunge down again out of the first 2 down Paddock Hill. So how do you normally sort of balance that with the car out on circuit?
Yeah, one of the things you've really got to work at, Nick, is making sure that the car's not bottoming it out. So as soon as it bottoms out, it's when it starts to unsettle. And coming through, say, Paddock Hill Bend, for instance, it's having trust in your ability to be able to take corners like that, where you get off the gas and you're actually using the throttle to rotate the car around, and you'll feel it drift out, but you've got to just have the confidence in the car that it will grip up and just follow through the race line as you need it. But there's always those moments where you're just sort of thinking, wow, am I going to make this corner or not? But precision has to be 100%.
Yeah. What about you, Jamie?
Yeah, being able to live with those bumps, I think, is critical. So you've got to have that confidence into the braking zones. So if you've got your suspension and your ride height settings nice and tight, then you should be able to live with that. The other thing is, really looking at the understeer coming through the apex. So some of these corners are blind, and the decision that you make on your entry can really dictate whether you fly off the track and miss your exit. So definitely Sheens is a good example of that. There isn't an opportunity to correct your mistake, so to speak, because before you realise it, you're off the track.
Right, and not a lot of runoff area around here. Very old school like that, where it's not massive sand traps, and it's that Armco is pretty close by at all times. And Adman, as you pointed out in your hot lap as well, that it's an unrelenting circuit. It's only 9 turns, but it just comes at you the whole time too. So not a lot of reprieve around here. No massive long straights to take a break. So speaking of that, we've got just over 5 minutes remaining. Let's have a look at the leaderboard as we sit here. We'll just quickly get on a car that's actually doing something. I think that's Footner here. He's currently in P1, so 123.43 tenths ahead of Slambo in P2. HSV is in third. Well, he was in third. That belongs to Slambo now. HSV in fourth, Fly in fifth, K-Man Ty, Summon Awesome, Eaglewind, and Aaron. So that's our top 10 right now with less than 5 minutes remaining in this qualifying session. This is round 4. It's season 6. This is the PS4 division. Hope you're all enjoying the stream. I see plenty of familiar names in there. Burrow Dog, Vic Chan, Mr. N. Wilson, Sir McSquid, Fiona is in there as well. Arrogance, Brenticles, Pesky, JJ's in there. Riggsy had a really good time last week as well. So good to see him in here. So hello and welcome to all of you watching this evening. Hope you're enjoying the stream. As we pick up Sparky God. He's had a little excursion there. Here's Christoph. So less than 4 minutes left. What are we thinking? Andrelli's a bit of a wild card tonight, up there in P2 on the first row of the grid.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting if it stays like this, especially off the race start. Footner's going to have the inside line, but yeah, I think that between him and Andrelli, it's going to be a race to the first corner. And I guess who's going to be the bravest? I have no doubts that both of those guys will want to come out of Paddock Hill in first place. And then we'll just watch what the rest of the cars do. But it only takes one little trip up. We've seen here before at Brands Hatch that it can get messy very quickly. And as you mentioned, Nick and Jamie, that there's not a lot of runoff. So if there is some car contact, you generally find that cars will start spearing off and bouncing off walls, and they don't just stay there, they actually bounce back across the track in front of other cars, which we've seen before as well. And we've seen that unsuspecting victims of that sort of scenario become in a situation where they've got a banged up car, and that destroys their night.
Yeah, just got confirmation in the chat there that Crashy Mate's working tonight, but he is watching. So a big hello and welcome to Crashy Mate. Unfortunately, he couldn't be racing tonight. Does have work commitments, but we'll see how this race filters out and if he's a chance for next round to try and snaffle a championship. But we'll have to wait and see how tonight pans out. What are we thinking, Jamie? Where Footner's looking pretty good. Can Slambo or Andrelli knock him off his perch?
That's a great lap from Andrelli because Footner has been flying so far in practice and qualifying here. We'll see if he's got any more in him. I'm looking at Ty. He did improve on that last lap, but he's still got to dig a little bit more out. I thought he might be able to challenge Footner a little bit more. Ty and HSV first, or HSV first, Ty second in the championship. So they'll be conscious about trying to get as close to Footner as possible.
Alright, just looking at Andrelli. So we are coming into the closing stages. Less than 2 minutes remaining. Andrelli's out there. Looks like he's just on a warm-up lap. So we'll move away from him for now. What about Slambo? He's coming across the line now. So he'll have at least one more shot at it. Currently P3. We might run along with him actually for the majority of this lap and see how he goes. Crashy Mate, the girls aren't very impressed with the sim rig in the lounge room. As it is, a trophy wouldn't help any. So there you go. I like it. There is Footner. Is he a little bit further along? I think he is. Yeah, he's just coming up through turn 6 Westfield. So let's jump on board with him. This will probably be his final run, I would say, of the session, with less than a minute remaining, unless he wants to go one more time. He's well down, so he will have to go at least one more time. Let's go back to Slambo. Let's see how he's going. Oh, a little wide through there. He was already 2/10 down. That isn't going to help his chances at all. So he's going to have to haul that around at least one more time. So this session is going to come to a pretty good conclusion, I reckon. It's going to be right to the very end. And Rally is out there, so this will be a hot lap for him. He hasn't started it very well, so he's half a second down on his best time, so we can follow him around for the majority of it. Footner is out there, I do believe. Yeah, he's out there, as is Slambo. Yep, Slambo's just coming through turn... Is that through turn 2 now? So through Druids. Oh, Andrelli's called it. All right, so he's had enough. So that's his shot at pole position over and done with. We'll keep it on Footner for now, and just keeping a track of Slambo as well. So let's see, can Footner set a faster time? A 1:23.4 is his best. Good enough for pole as it sits for BHR. Time goes to 000, so time is up. So next time they cross the line, that will be it. Looks like Slambo's still in it. Is any of you guys following along with Slambo at the moment? Yeah.
Yep, he's about on par, just a little bit up. Oh, now he's quite a bit up on his time. So he's got a couple of tenths to try and find here in the last sector.
Right. One time Morgo, he's 2 tenths down on his best.
And Footner did improve.
He could. I don't think he will. He's pretty hungry on those curbs.
This could be close here.
Let's see. Run to the line. He's almost 3 tenths up. He goes P3. P2. So good enough for the front row of the grid. Slambo, what's that? 96 hundredths of a second. He misses out by. So cracking lap from Footner to take pole position. I think that's his second in a row, actually. So congratulations to the BHR driver there, Footner, taking pole position. Then you got Slambo. So I reckon Slambo is going to push him all the way this evening. That's just the first part of the proceedings done for Footner tonight. Andrali in third. Ty Morgo, he'll start from the second row of the grid. Then we've got HSV there in fifth. K-Man, again, he just puts in those sneaky performances, doesn't he? With him and Fly there. Someone awesome once again. Another sneaky championship aspirant to Eagle Wind. He'll begin the race from P9. And then you got Aaron for Selby rounding out the top 10. Gaz, he's going to start from 11th. Sadudes, not a great qualifying for him down there in P12, so got a bit of work to do. Kraken in 13th. Stanhouse, he'll begin the race there in 14th. Christoph, he's going to start the race there from 15th. Sparky God, as per usual, keep an eye on him at the start. See if he can move up from P16th. Team Little Bear, he's going to start the race from P17 in that very brightly coloured Honda of his. Big Dom is there in 18th position, and Metal Steel will be starting there from 19th position. We're going to have a little word from our sponsors, and we'll be back very, very shortly. All right, thank you to all our sponsors as well, and the podium as well by Bounty. Fellas, we're not far away from getting this one started, but what an exciting qualifying.
It sure was. What have we got? Top 9, top 10, all within a second. The way, you know, when we come down Brabham Straight over the start-finish line, it's going to be a bunch of cars just going for that first corner, and people on the inside are probably a little bit better set up, because like I said in my hot lap, there's a big dirty off camber at turn 1 that can push you out into the gravel trap. So certainly the cars out on that outer line will need to be very aware of that and be very cautious and tiptoe through there without making contact, but being speedy at the same time. And you know, there's a handful of guys here that could certainly capitalise off of other people's mistakes, and you know, whether we have any drive-throughs. I do have money on drive-throughs tonight, so yeah, it should be good fun, mate. I'm pretty damn excited, if you can tell.
Yeah, well, a second covering was about 1.2 seconds covering the top 12, so pretty good, pretty tight field, especially at the pointy end. What about you, Jamie? What are your thoughts on the grid?
Well, I'm really enjoying that Footner, Ty Morgo and HSV line up in the reverse order of what they are in the championship. So that's fascinating, albeit with Slambo and Andrelli kind of wedged in there as well. Also want to give a shout out to Kraken, who's again keeping up some good form throughout the whole season. So he's the lead driver of the silver class again. So hopefully he has a nice clean race and continues that form.
Yeah, put in a very, very solid debut season. So good to see him putting up some good results. So they're going to get started on their warm-up lap. What are we looking out for here? So what are we looking out for on lap 1 around here? What are some of the danger zones? And then also, Jamie, maybe elaborate a little bit more on that pit stop strategy. Maybe give us a prediction of maybe the time of the race, I guess, where we could possibly expect some pit stops to happen.
Yeah, I think what we're looking for, lap 1, lap 2, this is, as Jamie mentioned, this is a track that's very difficult to pass on, and if you do get up beside somebody, especially coming into Surtees, for instance, typically you take a wider line there and get a late apex, but when you're that close to someone, you can actually dive up the middle and hug that curbing as you go around and make the pass. It's got to be done cleanly, and then you've also got coming down through Sheen Curve that you go out into the grass a little bit, put those left-hand tyres on the grass, there's a good chance you're going to lose it and smash into the wall and take out a few of the guys. So there's a bit to play out here. There's certainly the helicopter radar is an absolute must for keeping an eye on that for the close racing. And what we don't want to see is like what we did see at Silverstone when we had, unfortunately, with Ty Morgo coming through on Sadood's and taking him out and basically ruined his race. So that sort of stuff we want to try and keep out of it, and if we can do that here tonight, well, that would be fantastic.
So we've got Eagle Wind in the pit. So maybe has he missed the drive button there, and is going to start from pit lane? If so, that's a massive blow for P&L. It says that he's in 18th position in the pits right now.
That's a big shame for them in their championship.
Yeah. So the team's championship leaders, Eagle Wind, where did he qualify? He was in P9, so he's going to start from pit lane in P18. We're about to get things underway. Round 4 of season 6 is about to get started. These guys will all form up side by side. They'll make their way to the start-finish line. When they do, we're going to get this thing started. So it looks nice and neat and tidy from the helicopter cam. We'll get the signal any second. There it is. Let's go racing. Round 4 of season 6. PS4 division has started. Looks like Slambo got a really good start there. Footner goes up the inside, takes out the bollard. But it looks like Slambo's going to try and go around the outside. He'll have the inside run for turn 3 though, if he can get there. Looks like he is going to be a drag race down there. Footner going around the outside. Both of them wheel-to-wheel racing here. Looks like Ty Morgo, he's made up a spot as well. He's already in 3rd. They're still going side by side, door-to-door action here to get this one started. And it looks like Slambo's going to prevail as they make their way up the straight towards turn 5. And it was Slambo who managed to win the Battle of the Wills. And he's taken P1. What a cracking start, boys.
Oh, yeah, that's crazy. Like, that's heart-in-the-mouth stuff. And Footer definitely didn't look like he wanted to give up that position. And going door-to-door like that, coming into Surtees, I noticed that Footner took that wide line to try and get that slightly later apex. And that's where the two of them come together. And unfortunately, Cameron was pushed out into the grass slightly and hit that bump, which is the one I mentioned in my hot lap. And you could see that his car was bouncing around, which gave the opportunity to Slambo to pull forward.
Alright, so let's hang on, sorry, my mistake.
We've had some action behind, there's a few cars.
Yeah, I'm trying to, so Kraken down there, he's had a terrible start. He's all the way at the back of the field. Stanhouse as well, and who else? From about Team Little Bear onwards, Sparky God, Christoph, Big Dom, Eagle Wind, who started from the pit lane. They're all in that sort of pack right at the very rear of the field. So they've got plenty to do in this one. They've got plenty of time though, 60 minutes to make up for it. I think Exo was in the chat cheering on Team Little Bear as he's going to go battle it out there with Sparky God down in P12 and 13. But sort of two little packs have kind of formed here. As looks like Team Little Bear is going to manage to win this little battle here. That was Big Dom just running off wide in the background. But out in front already, it's this man Slambo, who's already made a bit of a jump there on Cameron Foote. And it's 1.2 seconds, the gap between him and the BHR Bentley. But Cameron Foote has got a little bit more things to worry about behind him though, where he's got Ty Morgo right tucked underneath his rear wing. And he's got Andrali, he's also got HSV, who's just being dragged along here, and K-Man in there as well. Fly, Gaza, Sadudes. Sadudes has made up some spots. And Aaron, have a look at Sadudes. He's made up 3 spots. So good start from him and good start to this race. Everyone facing the right direction. That's what we like to see. And I think Footner's got a pretty strong battle on his hands with Ty Morgo raging behind him.
He sure does. I reckon what you'll find is Cameron, as we typically know, has a lot of the pre-race jitters and gets quite nervous and expresses that through the channel and through Discord. And because of that little battle that he had there with Slambo on the first few corners, he's basically, I know what he does, he gets a little bit hungry with the corners just to try and make up.
Oh no, HSV in the background!
HSV's gone around,
yeah.
Here we go, I just saw that. And K-Man as well.
Oh, K-Man's been caught up. Oh, I think that is Fly's beat, yeah. Oh, he's got pretty big damage. Yeah,
massive amounts of damage.
Yeah, so that's a massive dent in his race. And HSV, this is crucial for the championship. Let's see how he goes here.
He's got a lot of damage on the side and the back of that thing.
Yep. Ooh, I wonder if that's going to be enough to keep going though and minimise a pit stop. We're going to have to wait and see. But HSV and yeah, K-Man as well. I think K-Man might have come out of it all right. He's got a little bit of damage to the back, but doesn't look anything too severe. So the biggest loser out of that though was definitely Fly. He copped heavy front damage there, so not good for him.
In the pits.
Yeah, okay, so doesn't really have too much to lose championship-wise, and maybe a wise move from him. All right, a bit of action already kicking off. We talked about this circuit biting hard early on. Let's have a look at Aaron in the Aston Martin for Selby Acoustics. He's got HSV who was involved in that scuffle. Let's see if the pressure's on there. I'm not too sure if either of you caught the incident there on the replay.
I did, yeah. So HSV, he unfortunately caught a little bit too much of the outside there at Surtees, I believe, and then he went around. K-Man unfortunately went into him. They were slowing, and then Fly though just was going at quite a speed and collected both of them.
Right. All right. So just one of those things, I guess, a racing incident, would you say, Jamie? Not trying to sway you one way or another?
Yeah, it's difficult to slow. You know, you've come on the power coming out of Surtees there, and if you've got a car obscuring a little bit what's happening in front of you, it can be a little bit of you have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. It's what we said before. You know, you drop the left-hand wheels out on that grass, it will spin you around and throw you into the fence, and you basically just bounce back across the track. And it's definitely no one's fault, that's for sure. It's just an unfortunate incident, but. Unfortunately, like Fly, you know, he's got his head down, bum up, and he's going flat out and just is an innocent victim.
Yeah. So it doesn't look like it's affected HSV too much. He's down there in 8th position. He started in 6th, so relative to where he started, not too bad. And the car seems to be all right. So I'm trying to think sort of bigger picture here, championship standings. He'll want to keep himself out there for as long as he can and try and keep on his scheduled race, if you like. So we'll keep an eye on that. But in the meantime, out in front, it's Slambo, who is 1.9 seconds ahead. This man is very, very fast. A very fast driver, one of the fastest we've got in this league. So he's out there. 1.8 seconds now is the gap between him and Footner, and it's 6/10 between Footner and the P&L driver of Ty Morgo. So he doesn't have his good friend up there, Eagle Wind, who started from the pit lane. He's worked himself up into 11th so far, but usually he's got him as a bit of a rear gunner. Not this evening. He's got Andrali behind him for Games and Racing Team, so not who he wants to have behind him. And we'll see how this does prevail out. But only one driver to have pitted once so far, and only mandatory stop to make is K-Man. The rest of them are all circulating and puck's sort of pretty spread out already. We don't have too many tight groups as it stands right now.
No, we don't. Yeah, you sort of expect on a track like this that the groups will stay closer together, but I guess just that a couple of those unfortunate incidents has definitely opened it up. But I think coming into whatever pit strategy people have got, if you're going to start coming up on lap traffic a little bit quicker than you would normally expect, that could play a bit of a part. But look, this track, honestly, I'm not sure how some of these guys have set up their cars. Like I said, this track is relentless. So if you've got your brake ducts at the front, especially, set to a lower duct setting, the brakes can get very, very hot here. And the tyre pressures are so sporadic, like they're up and down like a bride's 90. Just, it's really hard to stabilise them, and the brake ducts can, contribute to that. So I tend to run a much more open brake duct on the front around this track, because you're constantly, a lot of trail braking, you're on the brakes hard, and, every corner just about links up with each other. There's not a real opportunity for them to cool down.
So would you say then, the pack being a little bit spread out is maybe sort of working in some drivers' favour, sort of brakes are staying, not overheating and able to get a rhythm around here as well?
Yeah, it will be, absolutely, mate. But just these guys, however that's playing out for them, the track temperature's just dropped a bit 1 degree since race start, so I'm not sure how that's going to play out for the, we've got 51 minutes to go. We are in England, and anything is possible. If we get something, a little bit of light rain a bit later on, that could change everyone's strategy. If someone pits early, which K-Man has, it depends on what happens, I guess.
Yep. All right, well, we'll see how it all unfolds before us as Andrali giving chase to Ty Morgo to make their way through Westfield there, turn 6. The second fast right-hander machine. So this is where is this the big coconut section you were talking about, Jamie?
Yeah, absolutely. You got to put it all on the line there, and if it comes off, you are rewarded with some good lap time.
And here we go. So Andrali's being rewarded. He might get a pass here. He's going to have to go around the outside, see if he can get a good run up the front straight here, just tuck into the slipstream of Ty Morgo, who might have made a little bit of a mistake there, but Ferrari pouring on the pressure of Ty Morgo right now. So they go through turn 1, can't quite get it done there. Plunges down the hill, then up the hill, almost a blind right-hander as they come through the turn 2 of Druids. And so maybe Ty just made a little bit of a mistake there, enough to give Andrali a little sniff, but he sort of rectified that. So it's Slambo from Footnote, Ty Morgo, Andrali, Gaz, Sadudes, Someone Awesome, HSV, Aaron, and Fly. That's our current top 10 right now. It was Footner who put it on pole position. We had a good start to this one. Fly, HSV, and K-Man got caught up in a little scuffle there. Who else had a little bit of an issue at the start? Eagle Wind started from the pit road, and then Kraken got caught up in a little scuffle. And there we go, Adman. You've won your money, whoever you made the bet with. We've got our first driver of the evening. Oh, tight. Yeah.
Gone wide.
Yeah. Oh, so is Andrali.
Andrali's gone out. That's unfortunate. So Ty's gotten really ugly out through Sheen Curve, and basically, Andrali's tried to do the right thing and give him a bit of room as he's re-entered back onto the track, and unfortunately he's gone out into the sand, but at least he's kept it off the wall, so there's an opportunity where he can come back, and it's uncharacteristic for Ty Morgan to be making these sorts of mistakes.
Yeah, yep, I agree. All right. Jamie.
Yeah, I'm surprised, sorry, I'm surprised that the drive-through has come up so quickly. Not sure what's going on there with Sparky, but trust me, it won't be the last. That's for sure.
He might be trying to run the Indy circuit.
Yeah. Here's Team Little Bear just having a little bit of an issue there. I think coming through Sterling's. And then Fly in the pits as well. So obviously repairing that damage from earlier on. Deemed he couldn't keep on going. So there we go. So I hope you're all caught up, Stu. Big shout out to Stu as well. He helped me out with something last week. I was very, very much appreciative of his help. So thank you, Stu. It was very much appreciated. Big shout out to him. Yeah, awesome work. So thank you very much for that. Looks like Sparky is making his the pit stop for the drive-through right now. But yeah, it's gone to just under a second between Slambo and Footner, so that gap has closed a fair bit since we've been talking.
It sure has. Just on these guys, and Cameron probably in the last 2 laps has probably pulled in a second, close to a second on Slambo. So I'm not quite sure what the contributing factors would be for that, but Cameron definitely looks like he's settled down. He's not running over the curbs like he was at the start, and I dare say he's probably gotten into his rhythm, hitting all his markers and racing lines, and just going to hopefully put some pressure on Slambo.
Well, we'll stay with these for now because I think they are 2 of the closest cars on the circuit. This is for P1 and 2. We'll see what the times are as they cross the finish line at the end of this lap. Still a little way to go before they do that, but yeah, Slambo might have just made a little bit of a mistake as well, and Footner, like you said, Adman, just finding his rhythm, so important to do around here as they're coming through that very fast back half of the circuit here and into the tight left-hander of Sterling. So once they cross the line, it'll give us a bit of an idea on pace. Just going to make it through turn 9 there. Here we go. So come through any moment now. And Slambo does a 124.1, a 124.2, almost a 124.3 to Footner there, 124.5 to Ty Morgo as well, and a 124.7 to Andrali. So all in the 24s there. All sort of similar pace between a lot of them. Jamie, have you seen anything that you've picked up on over anyone in the field, or Footner or Slambo?
Yeah, just watching Footner. As Ad said, he's trying not to get too impatient and make sure that he's trying to consolidate his position, drive nice and smoothly. Still got 45 minutes left in the race, and we talked a little bit about the pit strategy. I'm sure he's thinking about how he might approach this battle with Slambo. He's got Ty behind him. He's got HSV, who's dropped down a few positions after that little accident that he had earlier on in the race. So whatever he does in the pit stops, it'll get Slambo thinking, because we don't know if he's hiding a little bit of pace there, just keeping it nice and calm behind Slambo at the moment.
Yeah, so maybe just biding his time, waiting for his opportunity. We've gone a quarter race distance already as well, so usually we've seen the sort of 25 to 35 minute mark is generally time for pit stops, but we're a little ways away from that yet. So across the line for another lap. Slambo goes at 124.4. Footner 3/10 faster, so 124.1. So he's right on it. Ty Morgo at 24.294. 24.5 from Andrali. So all, once again, similar pace between the top 4 runners. This is going to prove to be an interesting race. I think, yeah, it's Footner feeling very comfortable now with the pace of Slambo in front of him.
Yeah, I think I'm on Slambo at the moment, and I've just watched this last 3 or 4 laps, and coming through turn 1, he's on the line, like the threshold right at the moment, and some of those curbings that he's running over, you can see the car's unsettled, and it's certainly not preferred, and his racing line looks like it's slightly wider than what Cameron's is, with some of the exits of corners there, but I feel like Slambo is pushing really hard at the moment, and given this particular car, as we know, it's only got to hit one of them bumps once, and it will turn it around. Slambo has this uncanny ability to be able to catch a car somehow, I don't know. But when it gets into a slide or whatever, if he goes off track, sideways, backwards, whatever it may be, he's able to flick it around and do the old Scandinavian flick and put it back on track and hardly lose any time. But yeah, no, he's pushing really hard at the moment, and he's still riding that curve at turn 1. Cameron's not, and that's where he seems to be closing in.
All right, well, I think we've also got to keep in mind, possible drive-through penalties as well. We've seen one already. We've seen Footner get one. I think it was Barcelona. He had one as well, so which deprived him of a podium. So he will not want to repeat that. He'll have to try and keep his nose nice and clean. I see a bit going on in the chat about these two on screen, Stanhouse and Team Little Bear, both exchanging moments according to Arrogance there. But these two are putting on a nice little battle there. Between these two in 14th and 15th respectively. So for I think it's P&L with that with that livery of Team Little Bear, hard to tell. And Stanhouse for Bruce Hale Racing on the unmistakable green there in the Ferrari. And it looks like HSV has made his stop as well. So he's relented after that early damage, and he's come in pretty early stop. What do we think of 18 minutes in and making his stop already?
I believe there has to be damage to the car. Even if it's got 10, 15 seconds plus, that is a lot. And we talk about oversteer, understeer. If you've got a damaged car, and some of these corners where you're on the edge anyway, and there's an element of understeer until the car grips up. If you're losing that and it's continuing on to be longer than it needs to be, it certainly makes the car pretty much undrivable. I reckon that he has, let me just double check, he's got a clean car, so looks like he's repaired his damage. I would say his decision making is based on the fact that he didn't want to do another 40 minutes of racing with a hurt car.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. So Stanhouse and Team Little Bear having a cracking little battle between those. We'll follow them through. So HSV, he's 15th on the timing screen. Stanhouse sending it down. Oh, they've made contact. And Team Little Bear's going around. So you could almost say that was inevitably going to happen. But the cameraman's just... Oh, we've got the leaders coming through as well. So who else is coming through there? 400 time Morgo. And there he goes. So that's going to be Stanhouse. We'll have to sort that one out. Back to the battle at front. We're almost a third race distance. So out in front it is these two, and the pace is nice and hot. A 24.3 to each of them on that last lap. So almost identical race pace right now between these two. This is a cracking battle. So it's going to be the first to break into the pitch. Jamie, you would have been in these kind of situations many times, either in P1 or P2. What are you thinking? What's going through your mind in a situation like this?
Yeah, well, if I'm behind, I'm trying to pay very close attention to what the car in front is doing, or where they're strong, where I might be stronger, and understand where might be able to put a bit of pressure on and take advantage of a mistake. We know it's very difficult to pass around here, but if you keep your eyes open and you set yourself up a couple of corners before someone might be struggling, then you can take a bit of advantage. Otherwise, you'd be thinking pit stop strategies. So if I'm Cam, I would definitely be thinking about the undercut, take advantage of some fresh tyres, and if he has got a bit of pace in hand in there, then some point in the next 5, 6, 7 minutes, then I'd be circling that. And if Slambo beats you in, then you go long, and whatever you do, you don't follow him in.
All right, so it's going to be very interesting next 7 odd minutes or so between these two, you'd say.
Definitely, and this is a great thing for Ty as well, with Slambo heading up Footner, because I think Footner does have that extra bit of pace there. But they are still pulling a little bit away from Ty, so he might have to pick up the pace a little bit. Maybe a fresh set of tyres for him as well will give him a bit more confidence.
Yeah. And so a common mistake people can make is, and either of you can, or both of you, be keen to hear both of you. So a common mistake people can make is that, watching the guy in front, if they make a mistake, you likely sort of get sucked into that mistake as well. So how do each of you deal with that, especially in a situation like this where it is for a lead? How do you prevent that from happening?
I'll take the lead on this one, Jamie, because I'm typically not in position like yourself up the front, so I've done a lot of following around. Yeah, look, it's a good question, Nick. It's certainly you know, taking on board what Jamie just said about watching the car in front. I guess you can get sucked in, you know, if they do make a mistake, but it's trying to. It comes down to the amount of practice you've done and how you know, how much of a habit you've gotten into with all your braking zone and turning points. So if the car in front does make a mistake, regardless of that, you're still hitting your markers, and you're going into the corners, a lot of it blind, and relying on the car in front to be doing the right thing as well. It's a tough one, and you know, the worst outcome is to, you know, get greedy on the brakes like they're just coming into Druids now. Yeah, you can brake a fraction later under that bridge, and basically, you know, you'll go deep, and what you don't want to do is slam up the rear end of the person in front of you and ruin the race for both the guys.
What about you, Jamie? Do you normally have a bit of a tactic, or how do you approach it?
I think it's that awareness, and you know, it takes time to practice that. You can't always be focusing on one thing, you know, whether that's yourself or the driver ahead. There are many things that you got to be factoring in as you're approaching a race, a lap, a corner, and so you've got to be looking at where your braking markers are. Typically, whether you're on the typical racing line or whether you're off it, say on the inside, you've got to know where you need to be braking. Yeah, sorry to interrupt there, but yeah, I think Footner is giving Slambo a pretty tough time right now that he's turning up the pressure. Might have a look at lap times on the way through here as well, but he is as close as he's ever been now. That Bentley is right all over the back of that P&L Audi that belongs to Slambo. So a 124.9, a 124.8, so a tenth faster on that lap to Footner, and he's all over the back of Slambo now. So these two absolutely dialing it up. Here's Footner having a look. No, so he might start to be growing a little bit impatient. What are we thinking? It's almost 35 minutes remaining, so 25-minute mark coming up, almost halfway. You'd have to think we've seen Cameron in the past. He's made some big moves. He's pulled a few off. He's pulled a lot off, actually. We've also seen him make some mistakes too. So this is going to be a big decision for him. Does he stay out there? Does he keep following, potentially growing impatient, maybe making a mistake, or does he pit in? I'm thinking possibly another lap or two. This is, you know, he's definitely got the pace to match Slambo right now. I wouldn't risk it. I'm obviously, that's why I do commentating and don't do racing, but that's kind of my thoughts. What are you thinking, Adman? What are you doing in this situation?
Yeah. Oh, I don't have the blood pressure for that, mate. It's I'm on a daily medication, and that's not even enough to keep me going. But I think Slambo's been around for a long time, and I've raced with Slambo for quite a few years now. And you know, regardless of where he is in terms of
here it is. Yep.
Footner's gone into the pits, but Slambo knows what he's doing and how to do it. But I would put money on that one of those. Between those two guys, one of them has either one or two track limit warnings, because they've both been very greedy. And that last lap with Slambo going through Shane Curve, he was probably a good foot inside the curbing.
Right, so we'll have to see how that transpires. But here we go. So we're going to see if Slambo responds or if he stays out a little bit longer. Looks like Footner had made the stop with no dramas. Jamie, you're going to chip in?
Yeah, so Slambo, he's caught in traffic here, and I think this might be really affecting him. So if he was planning to respond to that, this might not go too well for him. His other option would be to obviously stay out, but Footner's going to have fresher tyres, and Slambo might continue to pick up traffic. So he's really struggling to get by into Sheen's.
Stenhouse gets right out of the way, so he does his absolute best there. That frees up Slambo. Let's see, he's got in front of him, he's got number 10, that's Big Dom in the Audi, another Audi driver, and he's going to do another lap. Just having a look at where Footner's come out. He is in front of 227. Is it or 277? Might be cracking. No, it's Christoph. He's just out in front of Christoph there, and he's got relatively free air ahead of him. So it's worked out brilliantly for Footner. Now it's just going to be a matter of putting in some consistent laps and waiting for Slambo to make his move. But right now, we are approaching the halfway mark, and the chess game has begun. We've already seen some pieces played out. Drivers who've stopped, there's only one mandatory stop if you've not joined us so far this season. There's no fuel. Tyres are mandatory. Footner, HSV, K-Man, Kraken, Fly, Christoph, Big Dom and Team Little Bear. They've all made their stops. We've still got all 18 going around. And we've had a pretty good, entertaining 28 minutes so far of this one. And looking forward to the remainder of this one as a few more drivers start to filter in the pit lane. Eaglewind and Stanhouse are two of them right now. And as Footner goes around again, Slambo, a little bit more traffic from, I think that's Big Dom. He gets, yeah.
That was lucky.
It's always heart in the mouth stuff as well. But Big Dom doing his best to get out of the way for the hard charging Slambo.
Yeah, Sorry, go. No, you go, Jamie.
Slambo will just be ruining his luck here because it's so difficult for the cars to get out of the way here, because as soon as you're offline, you're quite often in off camber and on marbles, and then inevitably on the grass or in the gravel.
Well, he's got pretty fresh air ahead of him now, so no dramas with him there, as Big Dom's got some dramas just out of Paddock Hill there through turn one. He gets himself going again, but he's got really clean air. He's got 312 Stanhouse a mile in front of him, so he should be able to get back into that rhythm again. And just having a look at where Footner is, he's just gotten himself past Team Little Bit. He cannot miss that Honda. He's got a few other drivers up ahead, 299, that's Fly, and 297, that belongs to Kraken. So he'll have a little bit of traffic to deal with as well here. So Slambo's going to have to make hay while the sun shines, while he's got some fresh air as Footner puts in another lap. But right now he's leading from Ty, Andrali, Gaz, Someone Awesome, Sadudes and Aaron. They all haven't pitted yet, so they're all yet to make their stops. Footner, Eaglewind and HSV. Good recovery there from Eaglewind. It might have been a case of what if. He started in 9th, that's where he is now, but qualified 9th, but started 18th on the grid. But good recovery for P&L for the championship.
Sure is, and Slambo's just pulled into the pit, so it'll be interesting to see where he pulls out. I feel like Cameron's going to pip him here. He was quicker on track anyway. He's gone out on new tyres, and Slambo's just done those last few laps on old tyres. So we'll see what happens. I think that nail-biting stuff right here for the next 20 seconds that he's got left in the pits.
Yeah, indeed. So there's Footner. Where are you? Slambo. So stationary, so a couple other guys coming down there as well. Here's Footner just coming through Sterling's. This is going to be super close between these two. Still stationary. Here's Cam coming through the final turn. He's been absolutely flying. Slambo just starting to get going now. This is going to be super close between these two. I think Footner might have got him here. I think he has. He has.
Smashed him. Absolutely smashed him.
Yeah.
All right. How good is that, guys? If you're sitting back watching, hit the goddamn like button. Smash it. We've had some good attendance. We've had some excellent contribution from you guys. This is what we come to watch and pay for, you know, when we have our Tuesday night sit down and watch this stuff. This is absolutely class driving by Footner right now.
Yeah.
And he's called it right. I know that Crashy made a comment in there saying that Footner was probably going to be up against some lap traffic, but you know, he pretty much came out with clean air, and he's showing that he's made some big moves on Slambo.
So another interesting development is Andrelli was closing on Ty. Ty's made his pit stop and Andrelli's in now, so this could be another close one.
Alright, so Andrelli and Ty. So Ty's just coming through turn 5 now. We'll keep an eye on this, how this develops. Andrelli still stationary. Let's have a look at sort of time. He's well down on his best time. Obviously, he's come out of the pits there. Ty Morgo, Andrali's still stationary. Can Ty pip him? He's coming down clearways now into the final turn, turn 9. Makes his way around. Andrali's still stationary. Drops the car. Away he goes. This could be a little bit closer than what we saw between Slambo and Footner. It's going to be seriously close. And Ty's managed to get through there. So Ty's able to jump Andrali in P3. So nice work there from Ty Morgo. He's got... Who's that? That's Team Little Bear behind him. I think that might be Stanhouse as well. So no one really threatening on the same lap as him. As Sparky God makes his first pit stop. And that's it, boys. No more pit stops left. So we've got 27 minutes and change. We've got Footner, Slambo, Ty, Andrali, Gaza, Someone Awesome, Sadudes, Eaglewind, Aaron and HSV. So having a look at that. Aaron started in P10. He's up into P9. Sadudes, he's in P7. He started P12. So nice race from him. He's been a bit of a quiet achiever tonight. But the gap out in front between Footner and Slambo, 6.3 seconds between those two. Let's see if Slambo can start to whittle that down, or will Footner be able to maintain. We've seen the pace of them being almost identical this evening, so we're going to have to see how that will manifest itself over the next 26 odd minutes in this one.
Yeah, I'm gobsmacked that Slambo's 6 seconds behind after that little exchange of pit stops. That just goes to show how quick Cameron actually was on track. If he was sitting in behind Slambo for those few laps that sort of kept him at bay and made passing impossible, but just goes to show how much he was actually holding him up. So good on Cameron for showing his hand and going into the pits first, and it's paid off for him.
Yeah, and I reckon that traffic that Slambo copped as well on those couple of laps has definitely played its part. Having a look in P10 is HSV, so he had the earlier incident with Fly and K-Man. Fly's come out in 13th. K-Man, he is currently in 11th, so just one behind HSV, who sits in P10. So one of our championship contenders. He's there. He's working his way through P10. Baradog saying Slambo might have overshot the pit box a little bit. Did we follow him all the way in? I can't remember if I did or I didn't, but that could be one of the reasons why 6.5 seconds is the gap between him and Footner, as HSV runs a little bit wide there through. That was out of turn 4. So yeah, this is poised for a good one. I think everyone's made their stops and ready to go.
They have. The pit box thing, we've mentioned this in previous rounds, but it's a little bit hard to tell from watching it on screen. But yeah, the precision of dropping into the pit box and getting it right, and Jamie, you probably attest to this, but the frustrations of missing it by a foot, and then watching the car sit there and it moves back and it lifts up and it drops and it lifts up, and you just see the seconds getting sucked away, and you know that you've just thrown away any sort of lead that you would have had, or any track that you gained has just gone through that pit exchange. It's heartbreaking. I've experienced it quite a few times myself, and it's one of the worst things that you can go through. Because when you're racing on a track like this, it's hard work, and you're fighting the wheel and you're fighting other races, and it all, for all the hard work and all the practice that you put in, it all comes down to that pit stop, and there it goes.
Yeah, I think that's the other thing, Ed, man, is the time and effort that you put into. These guys don't just rock up on the night. They're not all like John O'Stan. These guys, put in a fair bit of practice, and it's that time and effort that you put in. You want to see a return on it, and there's nothing worse than having your race spoiled by just overshooting your pit stop by a foot or so. So, hope we'll see if we might be able to get an interview with him after the race as well.
Oh, can you just imagine if there was a little bit of rain that came in the last 10 or 15 minutes?
That would be phenomenal. So just a good observation here from Baradog. Wondering if Slambo will play the team game and give Ty second spot for the championship. That is an excellent call there from Burradog as well. So obviously Slambo is a PS5 driver, so filling in this evening. I think this is his first race in the PS4 tier, and we know Ty and Eagle Wind are usually in a party together. Not too sure if all of the P&L boys are in there, but that might be an interesting... What do we think of that tactic there, guys?
Yeah, I would have... Yeah, it's a really good pickup by Burradog, and hence why he's one of the team captains. His race head is 100%. Look, I would expect that Slambo would drop back and give Ty the opportunity to gain those extra points, and you know it would make sense for that to happen. I mean, that's the sportsman thing to do, and being that this is Slambo's first race in the PS4 league for season 6, I think that certainly be deserved of Ty to take P2 for the points.
Yeah, and definitely a legitimate tactic. What do you think about that, Jamie?
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. It wouldn't have an impact on the team's championship, obviously, because they'd just merely be swapping positions, and Andrelli's not really... He's kind of dropped back a little bit from Ty after coming back at him just before the pit stop. So, and with HSV, looking a bit out of contention here tonight, it would make a lot of sense. And then, Ty can take the battle on to Bathurst with Footner.
Alright, so Team Little Bear just having a little bit of an issue there through Sterling, so gets himself going again. HSV, there's only 2.5 seconds. That internet connection looks shakier and shakier as we go on, so let's hope it can hold up. We'll get some times coming through very shortly as Footner is making his way through Sterling's now, so we'll just get an idea of pace. As I think Slambo just makes his way past there. That was 2:99, which was Fly. Let's see what time is set here from Footner as he comes across the line. A 24:3 is the time from him. Slambo 24:1. There you go. So a little bit quicker there from Slambo on that lap. So just have to chip away 7.1 seconds the gap though. That's quite substantial at this stage of the race. With only 20 minutes remaining, plenty of time to make up. I think Kraken just getting out of the way there. Footner letting him through, doing the right thing. But yeah, this race is sort of settled down after all the pit stops and the action of earlier on. I think the one thing we're going to keep an eye on is now the potential drive-through penalties. That's going to be are we going to see heartbreak at the towards the back end of this race? We're going to have to wait and see, and who might succumb to the pressure, whose coconuts may not be big enough as they go through the back half of that circuit. Will we see someone make a little mistake with some fatigue towards the end there in the final 20 minutes? We're going to have to wait and see. And let's see what we can do in the last 20 minutes. We're up to 20 likes, Adman. Is that sufficient for you, or are you expecting some more than that this evening?
Nah, look, we've had 30 watches on. There's no reason why we shouldn't be at 30 likes right now. So the guys that are sitting back watching, if it's just a case of just pushing the little thumbs up button, absolutely do it. We say this every week, guys. It helps get the stream out there. All the support that we can get, all the activity that we can create around the stuff that we do. I don't believe that this happens anywhere else in Australia at the level that we do it at. We bring something new to the audience, and we do it for you guys that are sitting at home. To bring that next level of engagement, and to have you sitting back watching, having a frothy with your arm around your nana, and enjoying your night. But this is all voluntary time that we have, and I do it because I love it. I do it because I love being with you guys and having these commentary nights, and I think it's a real good opportunity to push it out to the wider audience. And with the guys that are sitting there watching, it's what they do and how they contribute to this and share and like is what supports that.
Also, don't forget to subscribe. I think we're up to 220 subscribers at the moment, which is an absolutely phenomenal effort. So when you hit the like button, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button too. There's plenty of action on the Ruse channel. As we're watching someone awesome. Here we go. We've got a little bit of racing here between. Oh, he's got Gaz in front of him. 1.3 seconds between him and the green Audi. He's got a Gamesman Racing Team liveried Kraken Bentley in between those two. So we'll see. He might be getting the blue flags. Yeah, he is. There you can see the flag marshal doing his thing.
Yeah, so he's moved out of the way nicely.
Yeah.
Where did Gazza start? Because he's worked his way up in a P5, which is a good effort. Team captain for BHR.
He started P11.
So that's a really good effort from him. Yeah, no, good on you, Gaz. Well done, mate. Arrow's just made a comment there too. So you know, in terms of the sharing, it's he said share it on any other racing discourse that you are on as well. And whilst I think of that, you know, there's a Facebook page, Oz Racing, which is run by Pesky. You know, every week when the reminder comes up for this particular race round, you know, he puts it on his Facebook page. He's got quite a few followers in that group, and so you know, it's not just what we can do; it's what people watching add it to their YouTube channel, their Twitch, or you know, whatever it might be. And yeah, absolutely, it helps get spread the word and the good word, and gets more viewers. I'd love to see more girls, like if it's, you know, mums or girlfriends or wives, and we've got Fiona, who's an active participant in here week in, week out. It'd be awesome to see more of the ladies in here as well.
I agree. Hey, Jamie.
Yo.
Who have you been watching? What are your thoughts?
I was having a bit of a flick around the board. I managed to catch Aaron have a bit of a moment at Sheen's, which allowed HSV to slip through. So HSV trying to claw back as many positions as he can, but he's a long way back, and he's got some tough drivers ahead of him to try and get past. I was also keeping a bit of an eye on the Gaza and Someone Awesome battle here. So someone's been kind of nibbling away at Gaz for a little while now, but Gaz, we know, so much experience and used all of that to be able to jump up from 11th place to 5th, where he's been running the whole race. So this is not going to be easy for someone to just cruise past him.
No, definitely, it's a big effort to get past the Audi of Gaz, but this will be a nice little fight to watch towards the end of this one as we're embarking on the final quarter hour of this one. This is season 6, round 4 of the PS4 division. You've been enjoying this one. My name's Nick. I'm joined by Jamie and Adman in co-commentary with me tonight. This has been a really dominant, strong performance from Footner. I have to say, I had a look at the lap times on the last time around. Those two were very, very similar. Let's have a look at Gaz and Someone Awesome. Gaz a 24.6, a 24.3 to Someone Awesome. So 3/10 faster on that one. But the lap times, it was about a tenth the difference. Slambo was a little bit quicker than Footner, but he's going to need to do more than that. It's 7.6 seconds the gap between first and second right now. So plenty of work to do for Slambo, and 5.3 seconds down the road to his teammate Ty Morgo. So we will see if there is any tactics that do play out in terms of Ty taking a spot away from Slambo. We've got 14 and a half minutes to see how that'll unfold. And yeah, Someone Awesome and Gaza, they're the two closest cars on the circuit right now, having a nice old ding-dong battle to round out this one. We're on to Bathurst next round as well. It'll be the Enduro around Mount Panorama. That's going to be another one to very much look forward to. I think most Australians are certainly very familiar. Most race fans are familiar with Mount Panorama. So we'll see how they go around there next round. But we've got this one to finish off. We've got the PS5 division next week as well. So we'll see how that goes too. And Team Little Bear finding himself on the grass, where unfortunately he's been a lot tonight and finds himself in P18 doing it.
Yeah, well, I think Team Little Bear's also good mates with Exo, and Exo's I believe has a lawn mowing business. So there's probably a very good reason why Team Little Bear's out testing the grass, and So yeah, good observation there, mate. That, yeah, we know from Team Little Bear, he got taken out there by, I think it was Stanhouse in the Ferrari, and he wouldn't have been very happy with that. But I know with Team Little Bear, he doesn't care where he comes as long as he has a race and he has fun, and that's his priority. And you know, regardless of whether he's last or second last, he doesn't give two hoots. He just likes to be out there with everyone and enjoying himself. But yeah, no, it's been good tonight actually. I'm surprised that the cars are spread out like they have. I wouldn't expect any drive-throughs now because there's no real pressure on anyone. It would be purely based on someone, you know, making a mistake, or like just watching someone awesome coming through Westfield there sideways, that they make that small error. Interesting, just looking at the track temperature. So we've gone from 29 currently down to 23. So over the last probably 5 minutes, it's dropped by probably about 4 degrees, which is interesting. So what does that mean? We're in England. We know what the weather can be like over there. It could turn, could get cloudy, I'm not sure, but right now conditions look perfect, and it's great viewing for anyone that's watching at the track or at home. Yeah, it's good stuff. But yeah, someone's getting a little bit taily coming out of some of them corners, so I'm thinking that he's probably struggling with tyre pressures at the moment.
He's flashing the lights too. I think that's Big Dom. Just gives him a gentle nudge out of the way. Yeah, out of the way as well.
He won't be happy.
No, I think it's held him up significantly as well for his pursuit of Gaz. So he was lapping faster than Gaz as well. So that's put a bit of a dent in his proceedings right now. Cameron Footner though, let's see what time he sets on this lap here. A 1:24.2. Whew. That's pretty decent for this stage of the race. What about Slambo? What's he got as we'll see him cross the line at 1:24.5, 1:25.293 from Kraken there, 24.4 from Ty Morgo. So a bit of an idea on the pace there, and it's 8.4 seconds the gap between Footner and Slambo. So barring any kind of severe mishap, this is looking very good for Cameron Footner right now.
It sure is, mate, and he's driven a solid race so far. Basically kept out of the way of any sort of real on-track incident. He hasn't had any issues with coming up against lap traffic and trying to get past under blue flags, which has been good, and we've seen some evidence of where there's been some struggles, which actually brings me to the point of the moderators have been really pushing hard with you know, drivers reading the driver briefing before they actually race on track, and they're always looking to improve the driver briefing. And I guess when I say improve, it's more in the case of making it an easier read, and I know that Stu's actually been working on that a fair bit as well with this particular league and the PS5 league. So you know, we're not driving for sheep stations here, but we are in battles, and we do want to win. But we want to do it comfortably and enjoy ourselves at the same time, and be respectful of others on the racetrack.
Yeah, no money on the line, but you still want to keep it nice and respectful, nice and clean as well. So someone who has kept it pretty clean as well, Eagle Wind. He's there in P8. He's got Kraken and Big Dom ahead of him. So this is lap traffic. And we saw a flash of Saduds just up ahead. He's the next car ahead of him. It's once again, he started 18th from pit lane. He's obviously had some sort of mishap there in the beginning. Missed the drive button. He's flashing the lights furiously. Get out of the way, Big Dom, he's saying. As he sends it up the inside into turn one, plunging down the hill. So Big Dom, he's copping it from everywhere right now. He's down there in 16th, just doing his best to stay out of the way. But as you pointed out, I think can't remember, was Jamie or Radman, but just it's hard to get out of the way on such a tight, twisty circuit like Brands Hatch as well. So doing the best that he can. Didn't hold up Eagle Wind too much, and he's going to try and get past the Bentley of Kraken. And looks like he's able to do that quite successfully. So he'll continue on. He's got HSV behind him, but a fair way behind. It's not really going to bother him too much at this late stage. So less than 10 minutes remaining. It's Footner leading Slambo, Ty Morgo. That's your podium right now. Andrali, Gaza, Someone Awesome, Sadudes, Eagle Wind, HSV, Aaron. That's your top 10 as it stands. 8 minutes left. And yeah, will we see Ty Morgo swap positions with Slambo? I think that's probably the big question we want answered for the end of this one.
Yeah, I think I'll put it out to the audience. Bit of a poll. If you want to make a comment, make a prediction, definitely put it in the chat. My money is on the fact that I think he will swap with Ty Morgo. He did indicate through Discord that he wasn't going to get in the way of these guys, so he's enjoying the race at the moment. But look, I've been wrong before. Not many times, but I have been wrong. So anything could happen.
First time for everything, eh, Adman?
Absolutely, yes.
Alright, so 7 minutes to go in this one. So Arrogance, Slambo's dropping off. Ty isn't really catching him at the moment. Yeah, that's a pretty good point there. No,
yeah, they've been doing similar times for quite a few laps now.
Yep. So the gap out in front, where's Footner? He might have started a lap. Yeah, he has. Alright, so we'll get some times toward in about a minute and a half roughly. We'll see what sort of pace he's got. Here's Someone Awesome. Let's see his times. So Gaza, 125 flat, a 124.3. So once again, Someone Awesome closing the gap, taking almost a second of time there out of Gaz on that lap. So this is going to be an interesting development between these two here, Someone Awesome and Gaza, for top 5 spots. So there's a little bit on the line here. Someone Awesome, he's had a pretty good season. Is it awesome? I'm not too sure. Maybe not by his standards, but he's driven really well in a very well turned out Selby Acoustics Bentley. I drove past Selby Acoustics in Northcote today, so it still looked pretty good from the outside as far as I can tell. Let's see if he can represent them by taking a top 5 spot. He's got less than 6 minutes to do it though, so not a lot of time. He's got a big effort in front of him, but I'm sure he's up to the challenge. And Gaz always seems to find himself in these late race battles, doesn't he? I think last time it was with another SAR driver, K-Man. This week around it's Someone Awesome on his hammer.
Yeah, look, Someone Awesome going through. Shane Curve there, just collected the inside of the grass and got a bit wobbly going through. That's that what Jamie mentioned, the risk versus reward. Certainly got the reward then, but got to be super careful doing that. Yeah, Gazza's sort of the driver that he's consistent. Very hard man to get past. He loves his racing. Like, he's on dropping YouTube channels on all the time. I've noticed he's been driving, I think it might be a Assetto Corsa, and driving at Tail and Bend in a couple of cars. But he's on the sim rig all the time. Just loves it. Loves what he can do on track. But someone a couple of laps ago was 3.5 seconds behind him as a result of the issues that he had with trying to get past Big Dom, and has closed that gap up. So he's certainly got a couple more laps where he can have the opportunity to have a bit of a crack at Gaz. I reckon Gaz would be probably hoping that it happens. That's what he loves doing it. So good luck to both of those guys. But it's certainly on the cards.
Yeah. So as the famous Murray Walker said, it is one thing to catch a driver, it's another thing to pass, and I think that's going to be proved to be quite the case here. So just a tick over 4 minutes remaining in this one. This is round 4. Someone Awesome, very liberal. There's Team Little Bear mowing service again. So
yes,
the grass getting a good cut tonight.
We're on 29 likes too, guys, so we need one more just to get to that 30. There's a door prize. It's Baradog has mentioned previously that he will be happy to put the door prize up in place. Hopefully he's listening and he can back what I'm saying. But yeah, let's go. Let's get to 30 likes at least before the end of the race.
Was it a Bunnings gift card, I think, last time?
Yeah, I think it was actually. He's a very good man for that sort of thing. He's very generous, I tell you. A couple of months ago, my son Lenny, as we know, Burrodog's like he's the biggest fan, but Burrodog actually sent down a signed poster of his, I think it was his Ferrari with the number 350 on it, and a hat to Lenny, and unbelievable. So yeah, Lenny's got that on his wall. And yeah, he's got my merchandise. He's got a number 72 hat and a Ferrari signed picture with the Burrodog on it.
Burrodog, I'm not donating any more cash. Trashy cleaned me out already. So, all right, we won't drop him in it any further than what he is. So 2.5 minutes remaining. It's Cameron Footner, 8.5 seconds ahead of Slambo. Ty Morgo, 6.3 seconds behind him. So the gap there not really closing, or we might not see the swap here. The team game might not be played. We've got another lap or so to find out though. And someone awesome, 24.9 or so, almost there. Oh!
Someone's gone off.
Yeah, I think they've pretty much put the end to his challenge there for a top 5 spot. So Gaz is going to be able to, I think he should be able to hold on pretty comfortably from there. Yeah, someone awesome just gathering it back up. So that's going to peter out between those two. And we're in the final 2 minutes of this one. Cameron Footner is just coming up through out of Sheen's into Sterling's here. So once he crosses the line, it'll be the last lap. You have to think with such little amount of time left. The times they've been doing, yeah, it definitely will be. So we'll wait for the signal to come.
Yeah,
we didn't get the signal. So I've had this happen before though, where they don't send. I've been caught out, so I'm determined not to get caught out on this one. But I reckon I'm calling it. This is the last lap with just a tick over a minute left.
yeah.
This is going to be it for Footner, I think, to come home and take home another victory.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if he stays there. To be honest, it's you'd have to think that he's got to do the team thing. It just seems like the right thing to do, but I'm not sure. Look, I hope I'm not wrong, but yeah, definitely to help the cause for Ty. I mean, look, they've got 4 of their cars in the top 10 anyway, so it certainly pays course to their team championship. They're certainly going to, that gap point will be massive after this this round, but yeah, anyway, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, here you go.
What it is.
Yeah, so here's Footner making his way through the final part of the track now, through the last turn. He's going to take out victory. It's been a dominating run for him tonight. Congratulations, started on pole, had a cracking battle with Slambo.
Slambo's pulling over.
There it is. So here comes Ty. So team tactics coming into play here. Nice work from P&L. So they're going to take home a P2, P3. So it's a P&L 2/3 of the podium tonight. Well done to them. So Ty Morgo and Slambo come home in 2nd and 3rd. Here's Andrali. He's had a great race tonight. He finishes in 4th position. Gaz, he's going to take home a P5 spot. So another strong showing from him. Started in 11th, finished in 5th. So congratulations to him for Bruce Har Racing. Someone awesome follows him home in 6th spot. Lukey, much better race for him this week. He's bring that Bentley home for Coach Dave Academy. He will be finishing the race in 7th position as he makes his way across the line. But tonight, it was all about this man here, Cameron Footner, just doing some donuts down there at Druids. So nice work from him, and a great victory for him and Bruce Har Racing. HSV, one of the championship contenders, he comes home in 9th, and a little bit of theatrics there over the line. Aaron, a good top 10 finish for him. For Selby Acoustics in the Aston Martin. Congratulations to him. And that is it. That is the race complete. 31 likes in the end. Thank you to everyone for that as well. And we'll do the post-race interviews very shortly. But just to recap, Footner, Ty Morgo, Slambo. That's your top three. Andrali, Gaz, Someone Awesome, Sadu's, Eagle Wind. 9th was HSV and 10th was Aaron and K-Man. Kraken, good result again for Kraken there. Fly, Stanhouse, Christoph, Big Tom came home in 16th. He was getting pummeled from pillar to post there at the end there. Sparky God, probably a disappointing race for him. Team Little Bear and Middle Steel. And I do believe we have the post-race interviews ready to go, Jamie.
We
Adman,
do.
sorry. It's my mistake.
Yep. Ty Morgo, we'll go with you first, mate. How you going?
Yeah, good.
That was a good race there, and we right through the stream, we were sort of wondering if Flambeau was going to pull off to the side and let you through and help capitalise on some individual points, mate. So that turned out that we were correct. But yeah, it's solid race.
Yeah. But,
Talk us through.
I had in that first stint, sort of when I was behind Footnote, and I made a couple of mistakes. We've sort like in that, I don't know what corner it is now, it's like the third right-hander across the back section. And on the second lap where I did it, Andrali got up beside me. I don't know if he outbroke himself or what, and then it was just about managing the gap back to him. He sort of never went away.
Yeah, well, that particular when you're coming through Sheen Curve there, when you got out on the grass, it was one of the predictions that we had through the at the start of the race. That's one of the corners that needs to be watched very carefully because it can be a massive contributor to accidents. And I think what's happened there, as you've come back on a track, Andrali's gone out wide and probably just missed his braking marker and touched the grass, but. Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Contact, but yeah, it was just that's all I thought must have happened. There might have got a bit eager, think he's going to go around me.
Yep.
But yeah, that was pretty much my race, just managing the gap to him.
Yep, and how did the track feel, mate? So we've had a little bit of a change with the service setup, going from a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, starting on a green track on Friday for free practice in the morning. Did you notice any difference with that?
Yeah, just no grip. So you're just sliding it around, but. I just worked with that setup, and then as soon as the track went fast, you gain a second, and then when it goes optimum, you gain another 2 or 3 tenths.
Yep.
So the setup's just gains grip.
Yeah.
And my tip, just practice to the green, and if you're happy where you are, well, you're going to gain time as soon as the track conditions improve.
Yeah, no, that's good. Good feedback, mate. Well done. Well, that takes you to round 5. You've certainly, I'm not quite sure what the points outcome is, but it's certainly you've put it to the point where Bathurst is going to come down to the wire between yourself and Cameron. So that will be an absolute thriller to watch. So it's been a spectacular race from yourself tonight, mate. Really appreciate the effort that you've put in, and again, we commend you as the team captain for P&L and the work that you do in the background between yourself and your drivers, and it's been an example of what good looks like, and it's the whole reason why you guys are on top of the team championship at the moment. So well done to you and your team.
Thank you.
No dramas, mate. Have a good night.
You too. Yeah.
Thank you, mate. See ya. You there, Slambo?
Yeah, how's it going, Ed?
Good, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad.
Well, talk us through, mate, the start of the race. You're on the outside race line there, door to door with Cameron. I've got to tell you, as a commentary team, I don't know if I was too scared to talk, actually. Nick was calling it and did a fantastic job, but wow, between you two guys, door handle racing was unreal.
Yeah, no, it was pretty intense. I was making sure I was not going to do anything too stupid to try and take out Footner and ruin his championship, but I wasn't going to let him go.
Yep.
If we were in a battle with other people, then at some stage I was going to let him go. But we had a reasonable gap back to third, so I thought we might as well push on. But he did an awesome pit stop.
Yeah, did you have any troubles there with your pit stop? I think some of the guys called it in the chat through the stream, but I didn't actually catch you in the pits. But was there any issue there?
Yeah, I missed the board a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he was just punching out mid-23s while I was still doing mid-24s for those few extra laps.
Yeah, yep, on new tyres.
Yeah.
Yep. Look, mate, it's what's the reason for jumping back in for a round on PS4? Was that to help with the P&L team points?
Yeah. Ty asked if I wanted to race, and I haven't been practicing too much lately, so I thought it'd be good to actually do a little bit more practice.
Yep.
For the PS5 round, seeing as Jamie's pretty much untouchable.
I know there's this aura around him, mate. It's unbelievable. Nah, look, it's excellent from yourself tonight, mate. And to be honest, it's just the class of driving again. You know, I've seen it plenty of times before from yourself, but for the viewers at home, it's awesome to sit there and watch that sort of stuff. And you put on a really good show tonight, so I really appreciate that. And if you go back and watch the stream, I'm sure that you'll be quite delighted with the amount of airtime you and Cameron got.
Yeah, I will do. I'm gonna watch it now.
No dramas, mate. Have a good night, yeah?
Yeah, cheers, Brett.
Kiora. What is it? Kiora?
Kia ora, bro.
Kiora.
Kiora, yeah.
Kia ora, bro.
Thanks, Lambo.
Alright, mate. Catch up.
See ya. Bye-bye.
See ya. Bye.
Karen, the man of the moment.
G'day.
How are you, mate?
Oh, mate. Relieved.
Yeah.
Had to work hard for that. Congrats to Slambo and Ty. Slambo had me on the ropes, but at the end of the day, I knew I'm not racing him for a championship, so I just gave him tons of space. If that was Ty, I would have held him high and dry around Druids and slotted in front, but just when Slambo got in front, I just backed off. I didn't want to miss any markers, so I got myself a nice gap so I could drive, and just got in a rhythm, found myself on the back of him, and the red mist descended, and it was race on. I didn't care about the championship, I cared about winning a Brands Hatch race.
Yeah, it's interesting that you talk about the red mist. I think that we called it at the start there, you know, when you guys were coming through 30s there and you got sort of slammed into each other side by side, and you went out onto the grass and hit that bump and got unsettled, which allowed Slambo to go out in front. But you could see in terms of your driving style and some of the lines you were taking, you were quite, you know, hungry of some of the curbing. So it was, I reckon, a few laps down, and you could see when you actually started to like settle down and get into that rhythm, mate. So I'm glad that came quicker rather than later, and just proof in the pudding. You know, when you sat in behind Slambo there and had a really good pit stop to come out 6 seconds in front was just, you know, phenomenal. And for us as a commentary team to see that, like, just super happy that you capitalised like that. And I know you got a lot of fans through the chat as well, mate, and super happy that you've just driven a solid drive to get that win at Brands Hatch. And you know, you've had to fight back anyway from Silverstone, and you're certainly putting yourself in a position for between you and Ty to, you know, have a good battle there at Bathurst, mate, and cannot wait to see how that plays out.
Yeah, it's good to get a result. I really needed one. Just I felt a bit knocked down from the last two. Had a absolutely lightning quick car at Silverstone and didn't get to capitalise. And then the penalty at Barca, where I'd never got a track limit on turn 1 before. But anyway, we're here now. Just decided to pit early because I saw Slambo struggling on tyre, and I thought if he's going to punch out some 24s, I'm going to put some fresh boots on and punch out some 23s. I expected him to pit next lap, try and keep the gap, but when I saw him behind, it just pushed. Didn't get the pressures right. There were 28.5s for about 25 minutes. And ended on 27.7, so I was a bit concerned he was going to come at me at the end, but just put my head down and blanked.
Yeah, no, that definitely showed. Question without notice: how many track warnings did you have?
1.
Okay, yep. We were sort of banking on there being a few more tonight, but the field spread right out, so it didn't happen the way that we were predicting. But I tell you, looked like there was a couple of close moments where you probably could have had some, I reckon.
I don't think I really struggled too much there. I have done 2 practice races, and I think I got 3 total in the 3 races I've done, including this one. So I think Brands is pretty generous on all of that stuff.
Well, mate, we for us from the commentary team, we congratulations on your win. Super happy that you're up in P1, and being that Jamie and myself being BHR team members, it makes it even more exciting for us as well to be able to share that with you. Look forward to round 5 at Bathurst, and continue the good work that you're doing, mate, and try to not go too hard on yourself pre-race. I know you get the jitters up a little bit, so it amazes me how you can be out on track and then all of a sudden you're putting comments in the chat. You do that so quickly, mate. So it's whatever you're doing, it's working. But yeah, look forward to seeing you at round 5 Bathurst, mate.
Yeah, cheers, boys. See you there.
Thanks, Cameron. See you, buddy.
All right. Well, that's everyone for the evening, and that is pretty much round 4 in the books for the PS4 division. So, as you alluded to there, we are going to be at Bathurst next round, where we'll round out the championship. Will be round 5 of season 6. So, looking forward to that. It'll be an enduro next week, though. The PS5 division. Adman, you're not racing. You're on a work trip, I believe.
I am. Yeah, mate. I'm on a leadership program up in the Dandenong Mountains. Unfortunately, I mean it's fortunate, but I'd prefer to. The little boy in me says that I'd prefer to be racing, but definitely can't make it next round. But I will be there for Bathurst.
Nice. And what about you, Jamie? You are you going to give us? Are you going to give us a battle with you and Vic this race? Are you going to? Can you two maybe just organise it for us beforehand, or include maybe Slambo in there too? That'd be nice.
I think you'd have to include Slambo, closest challenger at the moment, and he's got a few laps on me here at the moment, so I've got a bit of work to do.
Brilliant. All right. Well, that's next week. You can find us. You can find me. I'll be commentating. Adman might be watching, and Jamie will be racing. But that will be next week at next Tuesday. 8 o'clock possibly. Might have to be a little bit later. I've got something I need to do beforehand, so I'll have to work that out during the week. But anyway, thank you everyone for joining us. Another very lively chat room in there tonight. So shout out to all those guys. Crushy was in there, Kraken, Branchkills, Lukey was in there, Vic Chan, Sir McSquid, Burrow Dog, Arrogant, Saint Sim Racing. Who else was in there? I saw Exo in there tonight. Stu was in there. Plenty of guys. Fiona, Thingo was in there too. Branchicles, Riggsy was in there. Everyone was Crashy Mate was watching too. Maybe his championship slipping away, possibly. Who knows? But we will be back next week to do it all again. We'll play a quick little outro video and then we'll get out of here. Good night to everyone. Stay safe, everyone. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Thank you, guys. Cheers.